तुरंत फोन नहीं भी उठता है तो कॉल बैक तुरंत आती है। तो सेशंस को सीरियसली अटेंड करें। 2 घंटे का सेशन होता है, 1.5 घंटे का होता है, 3 घंटे का होता है, उसमें पूरा तन्मयता से सेशंस को अटेंड करें। इसको कंप्लायंस की तरह अटेंड ना करें कि जी वीडियो चल रहा है और प्रॉपर तरीके से। आई थिंक हम जूम मीटिंग में अटेंड कर रहे हैं, तो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट रहेगी कि बाकी पार्टिसिपेंट्स अपने वीडियोस भी ऑन करें। इससे स्पीकर्स का इंटरेस्ट बनता है वो किससे बात कर रहा है, क्योंकि अदरवाइज कंप्यूटर के सामने बैठे बैठे लेक्चर्स के अंदर और ज्यादा इंप्रूवमेंट आ जाती है अगर आप इसको इंटरेक्टिव सेशन बना लें। जैन साहब ने मुझे कहा नहीं, लेकिन मेरी इच्छा है कि आप क्वेरीज रेज करें, वर्बली रेज करें चैटिंग के साथ साथ, क्योंकि स्पीकर चैटिंग पे इतना ध्यान नहीं दे पाएगा कि आपके क्या क्वेश्चंस आए, तो इंटरेक्टिव सेशन में ज्यादा नॉलेज शेयरिंग हो पाती है। एंड थैंक्स अगेन टू जैन साहब फॉर इनवाइटिंग मी फॉर इनॉग्रेटिंग दिस सेशन।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू अ लॉट ऑफ योर वर्ड। एंड पुष्पेंद्र जी कुछ कहना चाहते हैं जरा प्लीज?
Thank you very much, Vijay sir, for taking time out and be part of this program, and really appreciate. आपने बहुत सही बात बोली that we should take these programs serious. Yes. And not for the purpose of fulfilling CP hours requirement. So sir, with the corona, I think there is a silver lining also that we have got onto this newer mode of learning. Yes. These webinars and all. And if these webinars are really serious, being conducted by chartered accountants, and they are fulfilling the criteria of institute or relevant subjects, maybe we should also consider them as part of CP, etc. That is also a request. Maybe you can explore.
Sir, definitely काउंसिल इसके ऊपर वर्किंग करती है, लेकिन कभी कभार कुछ ना कुछ मिनिस्ट्री की गाइडलाइंस भी आ जाती हैं, क्योंकि सीएस इंस्टीट्यूट्स के अंदर भी मैंने बातचीत करी थी कि जॉइंट में कोई सेशंस हो पाए, तो जब तक जॉइंटली सेशन नहीं होगा जब तक वो कंसीडर नहीं कर पा रहे, क्योंकि उसके ऊपर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर का भी कहीं ना कहीं प्रेशर आ जाता है।
Understood, sir. Because it has become a new normal. Yes. And faculties are doing their best. And if the programs are relevant, institute is satisfied with the program curriculum, then this can be an extended arm for learning for professionals.
Yes, and faculties are more or less. आप ही लोगों को हम NIRC में बुलाते हैं, आप ही लोगों को, मैं जिसकी कंपनी सेक्रेटरी का फेलो मेंबर हूँ, तो वहां पर भी हम सीएस को बुला लेते हैं, सीएस के प्रेसिडेंट को हम अपने प्रोग्राम में बुला लेते हैं, हमारे सीए के प्रेसिडेंट को सीएस वाले बुला लेते हैं, तो अल्टीमेटली वी ऑल द थ्री आर सिस्टर कंसर्न्स.
Yes, definitely. And you rightly mentioned that we should not be, refraining from learning. And GST is such a evolving law that it is impacting us day in, day out. And last 22nd, I think we have had a session on GST on e-commerce, where Shivashish was key in holding that, and I deliberated on that. So a lot of changes are happening. E-commerce, digital economy is now new way of doing business, and GST is again interesting how GST is changing shape in the digital economy. So net every student, professionals, even qualified chartered accountants, nobody should hesitate from learning. And the only way to succeed in your career or your pursuits is that continuous, try for learning and upgrading yourself. And don't compare yourself with anybody. Compete with yourself to better in your life.
Definitely.
That was the thing I was wanting to mention. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pushpinder sir. Thank you, Vijay sir. These were like the words of wisdom, providing really fruitful insights, and are going to be a benchmark for our further sessions which we are going to conduct. With this, I would like to now move towards speakers. I would be checking with each speaker how this course is, how that particular session is going to be benefit of the participants. So there are n number of programs, sessions which are being decided, and I am going to give a brief introduction of each speaker, and each speaker is going to share his insights on the topic he is going to take, and how the benefits are going to be given to the particular attendees or participants whosoever is joining. So first, I would be moving towards Pushpinder Dixit ji. Pushpinder Dixit ji is representing entertainment industry. He is head tax with PVR Limited and is based in Delhi. So sir, I would like to ask you to deliberate on the topic to share the name of the topic and provide some relevant insight which may be relevant for the participants to decide whether they should go for this course or not.
Thank you, Shivashish, for this opportunity. First of all, I would like to compliment Praveen ji, his effort of incessantly helping professionals and students to upgrade their knowledge in various subjects, not only taxation but company law, banking, and other financial aspects. This GST refresher course we have contemplated keeping in mind students, budding professionals, as well as practitioners of GST, so that the course has been designed in a way that we will give basic information to start with, and we'll graduate further to practical aspect of it. And that's how we have designed the faculty members also, who will be dwelling into their area of expertise, where they have hands-on experience, first-hand experience in practice. So they will be talking about their respective subject once they are called on to talk about. But as far as I am concerned, I will be speaking on anti-profiting and a bit of e-commerce taxation of GST, along with Ginita. She will be taking the larger chunk of GST on e-commerce. I'll be talking about anti-profiting, which is a limited section in GST, but I have seen the practical aspect of anti-profiting, especially my industry. So would want to use this opportunity to share the practical aspect of it, what kind of checks and balances we should be maintaining to confront audit of anti-profiting, and we can succeed in those questions. That is something I will talk about. And before I conclude my remarks, just one more thing. Considering that our objective is to impart more and more knowledge of GST and a subject among the students, we have kept it free of cost to all students and budding professionals. We have only kept a nominal charge of 249 rupees for professionals or practitioners who are serious to join this certification course, and who can definitely look forward to learn some practical aspects which they would definitely feel good at. So looking forward for that certification course.
Thank you, Pushpinder sir. Thank you for sharing the flair of your topic. It seems very relevant because of the fact that anti-profiting provisions are already extended by the government, and these provisions are still in force. Actually, these provisions were supposed to be expired within a period of 2 years of inception of GST. However, since these provisions are already in force, so this topic is very much relevant. However, just wanted to check. We have various litigations around the computation mechanism. How do you compute the profiteering which has been done by a particular organization or taxpayer? There are n number of cases, judicial precedents on this subject itself, wherein even the rules which are being framed by the government doesn't provide how you are going to compute the profiteering. So please confirm whether you are going to cover those relevant aspects also, so that professionals who are actually looking out for guidance on the computation mechanism are also benefited by this course.
Very pertinent question, Shivashish. You just hit the nail. Obviously, anti-profiteering is only one para which has been mentioned in the law, but it runs across and impacts the organization as a whole. And since every organization represents a particular industry and they have different nuances of calculating profitability, margin and all, so there are no set rules which are out, but department has got its own way of calculating these things. We as a representative to a particular industry have to explain them the nuances of industry. I will be talking about a particular industry of my learning, and definitely that can be used as a buttress to refer respective any other future questionnaire by the anti-profiting authority, because we have to explain them our business nuances to be able to understand the margin and our pricing thing.
Thank you, sir. That was very nice explanation. So now moving towards next faculty. Next faculty is a qualified chartered accountant with more than 15 years of experience. And as I said that GPA Professional Association is working across India. We have faculties from across India. And with these remarks, I would like Ginita Shahji to share the topic which she is going to take and share some flair of the topic, how it can be benefited, how it is going to be beneficial for the attendees, which whosoever is joining this course. Over to you, ma'am.
Like Pushpinder ji rightly said, like we'll be sharing the topic and I'll be taking up the e-commerce thing, like the kind of responsibility which is given by the government to the e-commerce operator. Gradually, each and every the public sector completely, like earlier it was only and only plumbers, carpenters, cab operators, and now this restaurant sector is also completely over to e-commerce section only. So now my role will be to take the provisions practically, like how it would be helpful for the people working in the e-commerce industry, as well as whoever likes to set up a e-commerce platform. All the provisions will be taken up practically, like the invoicing structure, the compulsory registration for e-commerce operator, and the applicability of section 9(5), the RCM applicability, applicability of the TDS provision, section 52. Each and everything will be covered with a practical approach, so that each participant can be benefited in a practical way. That would be my lookout in covering the practical aspects to e-commerce operator.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
your
Thank
thoughts
you.
on this. Thank you. Thank you. Since e-commerce, yesterday only we had a discussion on e-commerce related changes, wherein we were given to understand that e-commerce industry is going to have a multi-fold effect. It already had effect in our household things. Whatever item you see in our house are being delivered or are being purchased through e-commerce portals. We hardly look out for offline purchases. The industry is going to be 2 times of the current stats within next 2 years. This was a stat which was provided by us from a person coming from Oyo industry. He was at a senior position and he said that in 2 years time this industry is going to be 2x time of the current stats.
Yeah.
So considering this fact, e-commerce is a large business space, and it is very relevant that this topic is being covered in this GST certification course. With this, I move towards next faculty. Next faculty is Mr. Bineet Sundrial. Mr. Bineet is practicing in Gurgaon. And with these remarks, I would like Bineet sir to share the name of the topic and a flair of the topic which he's going to discuss, how this topic is going to be beneficial to the attendees. Over to you, sir.
First of all, I would like to, congratulate Vijay Kumar Gupta ji on his victory. Last time we met in a Dwarka study circle where I was, taking seminar on GST for a very small time when physical seminar would resume. Gupta ji was campaigning there. So it is good to see that the existing members who have knowledge of how to, run the council, and not all young members in the council, but some past members who have experience with the working with the councils are still in the council, and certainly these are those faces, members of the profession trust these faces. So first of all, I would like to congratulate on GPA platform Vijay Kumar Gupta ji on his victory. Parveen ji and Pushpender bhai is always pushing hard to spread knowledge and information about so many things, and especially about GST. So a topic given to me in this course is audit and assessment in GST. As we all know, in GST is a self-assessment based tax system. So in a self-assessment based tax system, there is a trust between taxpayer and government. And what happens when that trust at either part, on the part of government or in the part of a taxpayer. If there is some rift between government and taxpayer, then this self-assessment tax system got, a very big hit, and then government starts using its own assessment methods like best judgment assessment and other methods to recover its tax portion. So what we need to understand as a professional is we need to continuously maintain the trust of government and stakeholder in this self-assessment system. And when we are right in assessing our tax correctly, when the professionals like chartered accountants and lawyers, those who are working in this domain, advising their clients correctly and assessing the tax correctly, then certainly in case we face any kind of assessment situation or notice, search, seizure, or any kind of government adjudication, assessment, any kind of notice from the government, we need to maintain that, we need to reply that, so that the trust in this self-assessment system should not go away, so that the trust which government has casted on the professionals, on the industry itself, that you assess your tax, you deposit the tax with the government, it's a very big responsibility on the shoulders of the consultants, that this trust should be maintained. And whatever we are going to cover in this complete certificate course is strengthening this self-assessment trust on the assessee. So we are going to cover all kinds of assessment in GST and audit, especially what government when government officer came for audit in the company, then what are the scope, what documents or information he can collect, what correct action he can take, because sometime when they find some hanky panky things, they start extorting money. So whether we should engage government officers at that level, or what is the correct way of handling that situation, that no, you need to proceed in this particular manner, and how we need to deal with that situation, we are going to cover in this certificate course. So this is a very helpful and practical course for those who have not seen any kind of government action assessments. For those, this is very practical, and especially for professionals and the staff of professionals, because ultimately chartered accountant is the one, but his 2, 3, 4 members who are going to assist him in any kind of departmental action. So for those also, it is very important to understand what kind of assessment chartered accountants office face, what kind of situation we are in. And now especially when tax officers has made a very tough choice of making chartered accountant as a party of tax evasion. In that situation, what are the rights of chartered accountants, and how we need to maintain that thin line, or that we are not a party, we are only at a advisor and consultant stage, and whatever hanky panky client is doing, it's doing up by on its own. I am the only person who is guiding and advising him on the taxes, not on whatever XYZ business he is doing. Okay, so we learn about all those things. We'll try to touch upon new points as new as possible. So this is the whole, complete capsule of my part, which I'm going to take in this section. Over to Sivashish.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your thoughts on the particular topic which you are going to take. Just wanted to understand, sir, whether we would be also covering the judicial precedents which were there in the erstwhile tax regime, indirect tax regime, whether we would be covering those regime, if you can throw some light, how much is the relevance of those judicial precedents under GST law, which were there in the erstwhile service tax or excise regime?
Certainly, Shivashish, we are certainly going to cover few erstwhile tax regimes, jurisprudences in GST also, because GST is only a tax law. Okay, So whenever we deal with any tax law, whatever ratio laid down in respect of these kind of tax laws earlier in excise or in service tax, or we have taken so many case laws from income tax also, not in this particular audit and assessment, but there are so many other topics where we take ratios of income tax judgments, because ratios are on point of law. Whatever legal point we are discussing, we take ratios of the judgment of erstwhile law. So we will certainly take that also, but we'll try to capsulate all the information in the sphere of audit and assessment only, and whatever time uh, you know uh, time permit us, we will try to deliver as much as practical knowledge and insights, so that professionals tomorrow, if and they face this kind of situation, at least they will be having some kind of basic knowledge that this is the way we need to go or proceed when we face any assessment notice from the department. For instance, if you'll see, I have seen one incident in which, in case of a non-filer, directly departmental officer concluded proceeding under section 74. He has issued notice under section 74 to the non-filer, stating that your intention is to defraud the department, that's why you are not filing the return. So there are so many are professional who might be receiving these kind of notices, that in case of a non-filer, they are directly getting notices under section 73 or 74. So what need to be done in these kind of situation, where officer step outside his authority, then how he need to proceed in case of a non-filer, and he is using some other methods to extort. I'll correctly use the word extort the tax or money from the pocket of taxpayer. So we need to see where we are standing and how much we can deliver to our clients. So we'll cover all these kind of practical cases.
Thank you, sir. That is very insightful because of the fact that the previous jurisprudence is very much relevant under the GST law also. And for that reason, the experience is very much relevant, because of the fact experience was gained in the service tax time, and that experience is useful under the GST law also. And for that reason, we have experienced faculty who would be teaching us this course. The next topic, we are not having with us Advocate CS Rahul Gupta. He is going to take on registration, revocation, suspension. We have seen in the recent times, the government has framed a law. The legislation has framed the law. However, the subordinate legislation, that is the rule making authority, has framed rules cancelling the registration, suspending the registration, blocking electronic credit ledger of that taxable person. So all these provisions relating to registration, revocation, and suspension are going to be discussed by Advocate CS Rahul Gupta, and he is also going to discuss another topic which is again very relevant, as notice and recovery. Once Beneath Sundrial sir is done with assessment and audit, the next task which come into force is this one only, that is recovery. And for that reason, we will be having Advocate CS Rahul Gupta to teach us on this practical aspect of the recovery part. Moving forward, we have another speaker with us, really very relevant and she would be taking very relevant topic, and she has good years of experience, and the topic she is going to take, which is very relevant, because these topics are the base of GST law on which the pillars of GST law stands. The notice, assessment, audit are the second step. However, first we need to understand the base, the core of the GST law, and for that we have Dipakshi Agarwal with us. I would like Dipakshi to say on the topic she is going to take and how beneficial it is going to be for the participants who are joining this course. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shivashish. Good evening to all of you. So I will be contributing on the topic of basically input tax. That's the base when you talk about any audit and assessment. This is basically, if you know about the act, if you know and if you do it correctly, the later on process assessments and returns, it's very easy. So you need to know what kind of credits you can take, what are the blocks credit you cannot take, which you need to reverse, what is the period which you have to reverse if you are not paying it to the people, if you're not paying it to a vendor. Then we'll also talk about the block credits, which is which is the problem. When we take the credit, then we realize it's a block credit, we have to go reverse it, pay interest on it. So it makes sense to take the first step itself when you record books into the accounting, and you know about what is actually the input that you can take and what is which you cannot take. I'll also be speaking about the reverse charge mechanism. So reverse charge is something which is always a very peculiar thing when any assessment comes into place. Whenever there is an audit by the government, they also have they also touch base upon RCM very well, because they know it's not a cost to company, but it comes a cost to company when you don't do the compliance at the right time. So timing matters a lot. So I'll be also speaking about reverse charge mechanism, where it is available, where it is applicable, and what time it will be applicable, and how to deal with it.
Thank you, Dipakshi. Thank you, Dipakshi, for sharing the topic which we are going to take. Very interesting topics. And with this, our inaugural part of this GST certification course, as far as topics are concerned, is already briefed. We would be launching this course next week, and with this, I hand over further proceedings to Pushpinder ji on, so that he can share his thoughts and wind up this session.
Thank you, Shivashish. I think it has been a really very enriching and interactive session, which Vijay sir also mentioned that in order to make it a success, we should keep it an interactive session. We have a galaxy of speakers who will be sharing their insight of knowledge, hands-on experience, etc., when they are called upon to present their respective topics. But I want to use this platform to encourage all students and professionals to make use of this opportunity, participate in this certificate course, and learn from the experienced professionals, because it is said that it is speaking to a wise person is worth more than a 1 month study. So even if not 1 month study, at least you'll benefit in 1.5 hour, much more than what you would have gotten if you read at your own. So make use of this opportunity and excel in your career or in your exams. That's it from my side, and best wishes to all the faculty members, and I welcome all students to participate in this and make registration so that seats is reserved. Parveen sir, maybe concluding remark from your side.
Parveen sir, you are on mute.
Yes. I'm very thankful to all of you, and something Sri Vijay Gupta ji also says about the concluding remarks. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Vijay Gupta ji, please unmute yourself. Sir, dear sir.
सर थोड़ा सा माउस में प्रॉब्लम हो गई थी, इसलिए
No problem, sir.
unmute करना है।
Sir, just conclude, sir. Give your expertise guidance, sir.
सर सबसे पहले तो मैं आपको सबसे बधाई देना चाहूंगा कि आपने इतना अच्छा प्रोग्राम करा और सभी फैकल्टी से रूबरू करवाया। और फैकल्टी से एक रिक्वेस्ट है, जब अपनी स्पीच दें एटलीस्ट अपना वीडियो जरूर ऑन कर लें। गिनीता जी ने जैसे नहीं किया था।
Actually, Ginita ji is driving, that's why she could not. But other participants have done it, sir.
Actually, next time surely I do it. I'm driving and I was not able to talk properly also on my
No, it's okay.
No, you explained very well, Ginita. I think you were driving, that's the only thing. You could not a video.
एटलीस्ट वेबिनार का ये फायदा है कि हम ज्ञान कैसे भी दे सकते हैं किसी प्लेस पे होने पर। तो परवीन जी, प्रोग्राम जितने मैक्सिमम हो सके नॉलेज बेस्ड, और जो इसमें स्पेसिफिकली आज के इस सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स के लिए मैंने कहा, फैकल्टीज हमेशा इसी तरीके से मल्टी फेसेस रखें।
ओके सर।
हाँ, तो इससे क्या है कि ऑडियंस का इंटरेस्ट बना रहता है। फैकल्टीज हमारी मुझे पता है इजी टू रीच है, जहां भी रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं वहां पर इमीडिएटली अवेलेबल हो जाते हैं, सब्जेक्ट टू देयर अवेलेबिलिटी की भी किसी दूसरी जगह प्रोग्राम ना दे रहे हैं।
राइट सर, राइट।
हाँ, और सबसे पहली चीज और आखिरी चीज मैं हमेशा से यही कहता आया हूं कि जो भी मेंबर्स हमारे प्रोफेशन में, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, खासकर कंपैरिजंस के बड़े शिकार होते हैं। क्योंकि मैं इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स हूं तो मैं ज्यादा से ज्यादा मेंबर से रीच होती है हमारे पास। कोई ना कोई मेंबर, किसी के अगेंस्ट डिसिप्लिनरी कंप्लेंट हो गई, किसी के अगेंस्ट किसी मेंबर से एनओसी लेनी है, तो आपस में कम्युनिकेट करने के अंदर बड़ी झिझक होती है कि मैं एक सीए दूसरे सीए को कैसे बोले कि वो क्लाइंट वहां पर शिफ्ट हो रहा है, वो क्या सोचेगा। सबसे पहले ये बात तो है कि सामने वाला क्या सोचेगा उसको सोचने दीजिए, आप अपना काम क्लियर कीजिए और काम नक्की कीजिए। क्योंकि कंपैरिजन की वजह से ग्रोथ के अंदर एक रोड़ा अटकता है, एंड हम एक भगवान का ही डिसरिस्पेक्ट करते हैं कि मुझे ऐसा क्यों बनाया, सामने वाले को ऐसा क्या बनाया। हर चीज के पीछे रीजन है, और ये चीजें मैं पिछले 20 साल के प्रोफेशन में देखता आ रहा हूं। जब वो मेरे साथ आधा घंटा बैठता तो आधी तो उसकी टेंशन खत्म हो जाती है। और 3 साल के इलेक्टेड पीरियड के अंदर मेरे पास बहुत से डिसिप्लिनरी कंप्लेंट्स के मैटर्स आए, जिस चक्कर में इमीडिएटली ऐसी सिचुएशन बयां करते हैं कि जी हार्ट अटैक ही आने वाला है। तो चीजों को हैंडल करना पड़ेगा, लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगी। हमेशा जो भी बढ़ता हुआ सितारा लग रहा होता है, हर आदमी को लगता है कि इसकी लाइफ में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, इसकी अच्छी प्रैक्टिस चल रही है। जिसके जितने काम उसके उतने झमेले। तो अब जैसे मैं इलेक्टेड मेंबर हूं, लगता है कि यार विजय जी के पास तो बिल्कुल एकदम रिलैक्स से बैठे रहते हैं। मेरे पास डंडे करने वाले ज्यादा लोग होते हैं। छोटी सी भूल करी नहीं, कोई ना कोई फेसबुक पे, व्हाट्सएप पे, एनआईआरसी में ये हो गया, एनआईआरसी में वो हो गया, तो हमें तो और ज्यादा चीजों का ध्यान रखना पड़ता है। तो पढ़ने में पूरी तरीके से ध्यान दें। कंपैरिजन, जी भूपेंद्र जी के पास तो जी 2.5 लाख रुपए का फलाना क्लाइंट चला गया जी मंथली, मेरे पास जीएसटी का क्लाइंट कैसे आएगा, मेरे पास तो 500 रुपए की रिटर्न का ही काम है। तो हमें एक्सपर्टाइज बनानी पड़ेगी, और किसी 15 साल की मेहनत को हम 1 महीने में कभी भी कंप्लीट नहीं कर सकते। जितने भी हम एक्सपर्ट्स के नाम सुनते हैं किसी भी सब्जेक्ट में, अगर हम इनकम टैक्स की बात करें, गिरीश आहूजा जी की बात करते हैं, उन्होंने लाइफ के 50 साल से ज्यादा लगा दिए, जिस वजह से उनको एक एक प्रोविजंस, फर्दर प्रोवाइजो किस पेज पे लिखा है ये रटा हुआ है। तो अल्टीमेटली प्रैक्टिस मेक्स मैन परफेक्ट। रिसेंटली मैं सैटरडे की बात बताऊं, बस कल मेरा ऑफिस क्लोज था, तो फ्राइडे को भी एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट कोटा से मिलने आया था। क्योंकि आपस में क्लाइंट्स में 2 भाइयों में झगड़ा हो गया डायरेक्टर में, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को पार्टी बनाना ही बनाना है। तो उसको बोला भैया हफ्ते भर से नींद नहीं आ रही थी, फोन पे भी रोने लग रहा था। मैंने कहा तू ऑफिस आ जा मिलने के लिए, तब जाके रिलैक्स हुआ। एलिगेशन चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट के ऊपर ही लगनी है। और कई बार हम अपने प्रोफेशन को फिर एडवोकेट के प्रोफेशन से कंपैरिजन करने लगते हैं, जी एडवोकेट ऐसा नहीं है, एडवोकेट के अगेंस्ट ये नहीं होता है। तो एडवोकेट बन जाओ भाई। लिटिगेशन और कंप्लायंस प्रोफेशन में तो ये चीजें रहेंगी। रिसेंटली कल एक हाई कोर्ट की आपने ऑर्डर देखा होगा, व्हाट्सएप पे घूम रहा था कि हाई कोर्ट हैज डायरेक्टेड द चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इंस्टीट्यूट टू टेक डिक्लेरेशन ऑन ईयरली बेसिस।
Yes, I have seen that order. Justice Pratibha Singh has delivered that
बिल्कुल
order.
बिल्कुल, आपने वो देखा। मैं तो उसकी पार्टी को भी जानता हूँ, अपोजिशन को भी जानता हूँ, क्योंकि ये ऑर्डर भी पॉलिटिक्स की भेंट चढ़ा है। 2 लोगों की लड़ाई के चलते 88 पेज का ऑर्डर इंस्टीट्यूट के फेवर में ही आ गया। तो अल्टीमेटली उस ऑर्डर के चक्कर में वो तो अपने फेवर के लिए गए थे, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली सारे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट के लिए दुविधा में हो गया, और इंस्टीट्यूट को डायरेक्शंस पास करनी पड़ेगी। कोई क्रिमिनल मैटर चल रहा है, किसी भी तरीके का मैटर चल रहा है, और ह्यूमन बीइंग है, किसी भी तरीके का मैटर हो सकता है। और अल्टीमेटली आप पूरी तरीके से बाइजर बोलो जी बरी हो क्या है, लेकिन जब तक मैटर पेंडिंग है जब तक तो आपको डिक्लेरेशन देनी पड़ेगी। तो छोटी सी रिस्क आई, उसके चलते 88 पेज का ऑर्डर पास हो गया। इंस्टीट्यूट नो डाउट रेगुलेटरी बॉडी है, तो कहीं ना कहीं वो कोई एक्शन लेता तो एक आध केस में हो सकता है कि मैं कह सकता हूं कि 1000 केस में 1 केस में गड़बड़ी हो सकती हो। अदरवाइज इंस्टीट्यूट की तरफ से गड़बड़ी होने इतना आसान नहीं है कि भाई कोर्ट में उसके अगेंस्ट फैसला आ जाए। तो मेंबर्स कभी कंपैरिजन, एक दूसरे के ऊपर छीटा कसी वाली चीजें ना करते हो, अपने प्रोफेशन की तरफ ध्यान दें। आर्ग्यूमेंट में कम टाइम वेस्ट करें, ईगो, चीजों को अपनी ईगो पर कम लें। हो सकता है कि 21 साल की उम्र में मेरे में भी ज्यादा जोश और अब 40 से ऊपर हो गए, तो हाथ जोड़ने की कला आ गई है कि भाई काम हाथ जोड़ो और आगे बढ़ो। परवीन जी हमसे सीनियर है तो परवीन जी तो सारा काम हाथ जोड़ के चला ही लेते हैं, और हम भी हाथ जोड़ के चला लेते हैं। कोई
Right.
क्लाइंट किसी दूसरे सी के पास गया, मैं इसको इस क्लाइंट को वहां पे जाने नहीं दूंगा। तो इन चीजों को लाइफ में सिर्फ प्रोफेशन की तरफ ध्यान दें, लड़ाई झगड़े में कुछ नहीं रखा। और जीएसटी में ये इश्यूज मैं काफी सुन रहा हूँ कि क्लाइंट इधर से उधर स्विच ओवर होके गया। नो डाउट तकलीफ होती है कि बड़ा क्लाइंट चला गया। तो डबल सर्विसेज क्लाइंट को दो सर्विसेज, इंटरनल और एक्सटर्नल, इंटरनल और स्टैट्यूटरी, दो सर्विसेज एक क्लाइंट को देना भी लीगली अलाउड नहीं है। उसके बावजूद भी हमारी मेंबर्स की क्वेरी आती है कि मैं जीएसटी की रूटीन की कंसल्टेंसी भी कर रहा हूं तो जीएसटी की ऑडिट कर सकता हूं। तो एज पर लॉ देखा जाए तो जिसका हम इंडिपेंडेंट ओपिनियन दे रहे हो उसके लिए हम इंटरनल काम नहीं कर सकते। तो उन चीजों को प्रोफेशनल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट को रेगुलर फॉलो अप करके देखें। और इंडिया में फिर भी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इन कंपैरिजन टू यूरोप और यूएस बहुत ज्यादा सेफ है। और कहीं ना कहीं एक मेंबर की गड़बड़ी 3.5 लाख मेंबर के ऊपर भारी पड़ती है, कोई भी एक्शन हो जाए। तो बस मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा कि कंपैरिजंस को बिल्कुल दूर रखें।
Thank you, sir. Thank you a lot of your kind word, and thank you to all of you, and to go for certification course for more efficiently and accurately. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you,
the best.
everyone.
All the best for the course.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your
thank
valuable
you.
time. Appreciate that.
थैंक यू एवरीवन।
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Vijay ji, once
Thank you,
again,
sir.
thank you very much.
Thank you so much.